Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. It's Off Book with Kirk Shepard. This is our first feature interview. And what a hot week in Cincinnati, going to be capped off by a scorcher of a show. Coming up this Friday, The Color Purple opens at the Carnegie. And today we're talking to the choreographer, my friend Julia Schick. Hello.
Hello.
I'm so happy to see you. Welcome back to Cincinnati.
Oh, it's great to be back.
So you graduated 23 from CCM?
24.
24 from CCM. My gosh. Yeah. And then immediately went on tour with Hadestown, which is so cool.
Yes.
I mean, we can see you in the clips here sometimes. I saw you, maybe in the background of one of those shots. But what was that like to go from graduation to the city to all of a sudden being all over the country?
Oh, it was crazy. I didn't expect to see so much of the country so fast. It was great to have a project right out of college. But it did take me out of the city. I was like, oh, I'm gonna move to New York. I'm gonna have time to settle in. All that went out the window.
Mm-hmm. Plans are really great when they work out, right?
Yes.
Sometimes they're better though than what we planned. So who would have predicted
True.
that immediately they graduate and boom, there's a job. That's
Exactly.
awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about The Color Purple. What should we expect to see this Friday when it opens it up at the Carnegie?
Oh, The Color Purple, you should expect to see community, and it's a beautiful show with a beautiful message about sisterhood and resilience. Um, the the acting and the vocals are beautiful. I think the choreo is also great.
I'm sure it's amazing.
Uh, but it's just been a dream working on this show with so many gorgeous performers, and getting really into the heart of what makes a community and what
Yeah.
drives someone to continue on.
You certainly know the material. In fact, I want to show this clip real quick. I'm not going to ruin it for everybody who wants to see that live someday. Maybe you'll get to sing that again. But you aren't singing it in this version. You are choreographing the person who's singing it. I have a feeling that Jordan is going to rock our socks off with this song. But
Amazing.
That is one of my favorite live performances still to this day that I've ever seen, was you singing I'm Here from The Color Purple. And so I know you know the material, and I'm excited to see how you put it together in the movement. So how do you approach a show like this? I mean, it's a really emotional show. Of course, people who don't know, maybe it was a book first, then a movie, then a musical, then a movie musical, and now we get to see it here on stage at the Carnegie in Covington. What's it like to approach that kind of, is there a philosophy you have about movement when it comes to shows like this, or how does that work as a choreographer?
Yeah, every show that I do is a little bit different. This one specifically because it's set in a different time period, and also we travel to many different places. A lot of my process started with research and just making sure that the movement vocabulary that I was using was in the time period, in the world of the early 1900s. It also spans like 50 years of time. So making sure I'm growing with the dance trends of the time, growing with the community that I'm working in, and then we travel to Africa for a little bit, so using like traditional African dance. I never want to like pull someone out of the story by using too modern of movement or something that doesn't really fit into the world. So I always start there, and I collect as much research as I can, and I sleep on it, and I'll do random dance moves around my house and just kind of make sure that that world is in my body. And then I'll go through the music and see just kind of what I feel and what I'm picturing on the bodies of the people that I'm working with. I always end up
Cool.
writing down like formations, like
Mm.
in my music has a bunch of like, this person will cross here and make a circle or make a line or something. And then I have videos of myself doing the choreo in my like living room.
It always seems like magic to me. Choreography is the one thing that I have not had. I've never danced in my life, but the idea of putting all that together and making sure it all works, it just seems such a big project. I'm very much impressed by that whole thing. It's not the first time that you've choreographed here in town. In fact, it's not the first time you've worked with our director, Tori Wiggins, when you helped choreograph, or you choreographed once on this island at CCM.
Yes.
How do you approach a show like this different from that one?
Um, Once on This Island had a lot more dance to it. There were like in Once on This Island, there were like actual dance breaks, so like no singing, just dancing. There was a whole lot of like different movement styles depending on what song we were in. Every so, like in Once on This Island, there's like rain, and so the movement needs to replicate a storm. Versus Mama Will Provide, where everyone's like playing animals. So the movement was changing throughout each song. Um, but in The Color Purple, there's a lot less dance because this show is a lot. It's a lot more like straight song. There's a
Sure.
couple of like party scenes, so I didn't have to go as crazy with the movement.
Sure.
But this also means that in this show, there's a lot more little movements and formations that make the picture more interesting that I worked on and collaborated with Tori on,
Yeah.
as opposed to like a whole bunch of like turn, turn, turn
Sure.
layout
I love
kind of
that.
moves.
What's it like to work with Tori? She's such a Cincinnati icon. What is it like to work with her as a director?
She's amazing. She's so dedicated to the work. She's so collaborative, which is just such a great thing to be able to work with a director who will like this sounds so silly, but like listen to you. And like when she works with a cast, they're so they can tell that she's so open to hearing feedback and hearing how they think of the character. And watching the show come together with input from both the cast and Tori's vision has really made it feel like honest and sincere. And I can tell that everyone feels like comfortable in the roles that they're sitting in and the way that they're performing it.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Well, The Color Purple
fantastic.
opens this Friday night at Carnegie in Covington. Tickets range from $18 to $45. You can get your tickets at thecarnegie.com. The show runs from June 27th to July 6th. You do not want to miss this. I promise you it's going to kick off the Carnegie's summer season, which also includes Grease at the end of the summer and then another show in the middle, which I'm blanking on all of a sudden. Rosemary Clooney? No. Patsy Cline. Patsy Cline, I
Patsy
think.
Cline.
I always get those two mixed up in my head. I don't know why. I think because they're both two-handers. I think. Maybe they're not even. Anyway, the Carnegie is coming up with The Color Purple. Anything else, or what's next for you? Well, you're doing this now, and then the tour is over. You're done with the tour of Hadestown.
Yes.
So now it's back to the city?
Yeah, I'm gonna go home for a little bit after this, just to visit family and spend some time there. Hopefully, get like a vacation for like a week. Maybe go out
That'd be fun.
somewhere and just sit on a beach.
That'd be
Um,
good. Because you've been
but
working
then it'll
nonstop.
be exactly. And then it'll be back to the city,
Awesome.
auditioning and seeing some people and getting comfortable up there.
And booking a Broadway show, and we'll see you there as soon as we can. It's amazing.
That's the
All right.
goal.
I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy to. I'll see you Friday. You'll be there?
Yes.
Okay, I will see you in person on Friday at opening night. You all should get your tickets. Head out to the Carnegie, thecarnegie.com for The Color Purple. We will see you this Friday. Thanks for hanging out with us.